Good afternoon and welcome to the Firaxis Livestream. Thank you for joining us today as we go over these Civ 6 monthly events. My name is Pete Murray. I'm going to be your host this afternoon. And joining me today is the famous, the one, the only, Carl Harrison, king of the designers, king of the keyway, king of the five rivers, king of all of those who dwell in felt tents. Carl, it's great to have you with us here today.
Thanks for having me, Pete.
Yeah, and I want to thank everybody for joining us on the stream today. We're going to go over not only our February event, which is the Head of Cyrus, but we're going to give you a sneak peek at our next month's event for the Ides of March. So make sure that you stay tuned through the stream as we watch that. But I want to take a minute before we get started and thank everybody who donated for the Civ Give. Civ Give is a charity event that's done with the community, and you all were able to raise over $34,000 for kids in hospitals, put together 9 go-karts. These are mobile stations for kids to game when they are in a hospital setting. That's our list of donors. Thank you to everybody who donated over the course of this. When we say Civ fans, you really are the best fans of gaming. This is what we mean, and it's just a pleasure to see you all contribute. On a more bloodthirsty note, we're going to shift into our February event. So if you've been playing the Head of Cyrus, it's active right now. It will be active until 10 a.m. Pacific time on March 12th. If you complete it, you get a new badge. That is a pretty cool achievement. This event is where you play as the Scythian Queen Tamiris, and Cyrus the Great, different great guy, is waging war on you. So this is based on the historical death of Cyrus, who famously tried to invade the Scythians, and it cost him his head.
Yes,
so what we're going to do today is we're going to play this scenario out. When I want to go for horse nomad-based violence, who do I turn to but Carl Harrison for this? So Carl, let's go ahead and let's jump into this scenario today so people can get a chance to see that.
Sounds good. So yeah, we're playing as Tamiris of Scythia. Her ability is called Killer of Cyrus. All units receive +5 combat strength when attacking wounded units. When they eliminate a unit, they heal up to 30 hit points. So right out of the gate, we're already working with a Cyrus targeted ability, so that's going to go well for us, hopefully. And then people of the steppe receive a second light cavalry unit or Saka horse archer, which is their unique unit, each time you train a light cavalry unit or Saka horse archer. So if we take a look at our map here, when you start the game, you're actually all the way over here in the corner. This is an inland sea map, so you have to explore the outside to find Cyrus. Mm-hmm. And you have a relatively flat start here, lots of good chops, and I have done some chops to get things up and running. And there's lots of militaristic city-states that you can befriend along the way. I actually took over a COD because they were blocking this. There's this mountain pass right here, and I either had to go through the lake tile, through the snow in the top, or just take them over. So I decided to take them over. Now we are primed and set up to attack Cyrus himself. You can see our People of the Steppe ability is really paying off here. Lots of double light horsemen and Saka horse archers.
Mm-hmm. So this is a scenario that you can play on Prince or Emperor difficulty. For those of you who play on Prince, like me, this is a good opportunity for you to try something a little harder. It is online speed, so it's going to move along at a pretty brisk clip here. But Carl, you've kind of positioned yourself where you're ready to do fun times, as it were.
Yes, I am. I rush as fast as possible, like I said, doing chops and other things to accelerate myself to try to get get the play going as quickly as I could. And that's really the goal here with all of these challenges, the monthly challenges. You're supposed to do it as fast as you can. So the lower your turn count, the better. So I'm currently on turn 46. This is the Emperor difficulty, and we'll see how we fare. We have to go up against walls here, and horsemen not so great against the walls. We'll see how that goes. We've got a couple of civic and tech choices and things to make first, so let me get through those, and then we'll go ahead and start this war off.
Sounds good. So this is actually interesting because with Scythia, their Saka horse archers come along fairly early on in the game, and with the online speed, we're actually coming to the end of where the Saka horse archer is kind of a powerhouse. It's getting a little bit obsolete at this late in the game.
Yes, it is. It's still a decent range unit, but compared to what we might find ourselves up against, it's possible that it's not going to be enough, but we won't really know until we get in there. We do have a governor choice. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick Victor, who gets assigned in 3 turns and helps with combat, so that if we do take one of these Persian cities, we can assign him over immediately.
That would be awesome. So really, right now, what you're doing is you're sort of doing the usual shuffle where you're trying to get your units up to the front line. But it looks like you've got a pretty good block of forces up there ready to go. And this is where Tamiris's abilities really sort of come to shine.
Yes,
getting
absolutely.
that army up fast. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I've got a bunch up there, but yeah, you can really see these two Saka horse archers just came out of the same encampment. They were stacked on top of each other, which normally you can't do, but they get produced at the same time when you're playing as Tamiris. So they popped out on the same hex, and so we're sort of staggering them as we move them across. You can see that I've got all these other units that I've been building. I have every single unit production thing that I can stack in. If we take a look at our policies real quick, I do have maneuver, which is production towards heavy and light cavalry units to help with that. I took the God of the Forge Pantheon, which is another plus 25% production towards those types of units. I have stables in several cities, so we've got lots of bonuses sort of playing in our advantage here to try to get this army up and going. And finally, we're over here. I think we're ready to start, so let me go ahead and declare war on Cyrus.
And because this is just a duel, you and him, somebody's going to win through war. You don't need to worry about the diplomatic ramifications of this, because what is diplomacy?
Exactly.
Really?
In this case, diplomacy is the point of a spear.
And like, please don't take this the wrong way. Do you actually care about how people perceive you when you play Civ?
I do, yeah. I have a bad rap for being a warmonger.
You are a warmonger.
I can be a warmonger, Pete. I'm not always a warmonger, and I like to try to make friends before resorting to violence.
Well, that is different than your usual reputation, and I'm happy to hear that. I'm glad to hear that you are approaching things in a new way. So, are you going to try to establish a siege in on the city? What is that there that he's got his?
So this is the Persian Immortal, which is Persia's unique unit.
Yep.
So I do have to watch out for that. But we're going to start here with a couple of horse archer attacks that will wound this unit, and then my Killer of Cyrus ability will kick in, and I'll get an additional +5 combat strength. And actually, that was a mistake. I have this great general over here. I need to move it up first. Then I'll get an additional +5 combat, which we can see down there in the combat preview. So I should have done that initially, but oh well. I was talking to you fine folks.
It's well, I'm sorry to have distracted you from your affairs.
You know what, Pete? It would not be the first time that you've distracted me while we're doing one of these. I distinctly remember you passing me a donut one time while I was playing against Ed Beach.
It was a strategic donut. It was an offering. That was years ago.
It was years ago. It was years ago.
You do hold a grudge.
And Ed and I have had a rematch since then, and I did defeat him in that.
Yeah. So I was sorry I missed that particular rematch. That was one of the most fun streams we've ever done. All right, so you are beginning to establish the siege on the Persian city here. It's Pasgard. And then looks like you're going to be in a position where you're going to be able to start maybe even establishing a full siege of the city, so those walls don't rebuild quite so quickly.
Yeah, I have to get around to the other side of the river in order for that to really kick in. Looks like he had his own city-state ally that declared war on us. I'm going to put an envoy in that.
Okay. But that's not... this is a part where the horse archers really are useful, where that extra mobility can be really good at establishing that line very quickly.
Right, to get around the back of the city. And horsemen always ignore zone of control.
Yeah.
So the city always exerts zone of control. Zone of control means that your units can only move one tile adjacent.
Correct.
So by ignoring that, I'm able to skirt the city and sort of maneuver around the outside and still have an advantage there.
Mm-hmm. So for those of you who don't know the historical events of it, Cyrus the Great of Persia decides that he's going to try to invade the Scythians, add them to the Persian Empire, and they say they will fill him, they will slake his thirst for blood, and he attacks, he dies, his body remains unrecovered by the Persians. It's a great story. I highly recommend that you check it out. Uh-oh, what happened?
I killed the Persian immortal within the radius of the great general, so we got a...
Oh, fantastic. So you got a little bit of era score for that.
Yes, I did.
And that was pretty cool, too. So what unit healed up as a result of that? Do you know?
They were at full health already.
Oh, okay.
So the only unit of mine that was injured was this scout back here, and it's just going to sit back there. I had it there for visibility purposes, and it's going to stay there. In fact, actually
move him up top.
We'll move it up top, move it around the mountain, see what's up there.
Yeah. You're going to be able to get the most part of. Wow. Second city's right there.
Second city's right there. It also has walls, and he has spearmen, which are an anti-cavalry unit, very effective against, obviously, cavalry units. So that's not so great.
And there's a little siege icon, lets you know you've just laid siege to the city. It's a good thing you got the horsemen to that side of the river this turn, because trying to attack across the river to get to that tile, taking the huge penalty for that, and then trying to attack an anti-cavalry unit with cavalry, you would have really...
it would have hurt.
Would have gone badly.
The siege icon here that Pete is talking about means that this city will not heal every single turn. Normally, I'm dealing damage, so you can see -1 health right there. Normally, it recovers that health every single turn, but while it's under siege, it does not recover any health. And siege is, I have to have every single hex around the city either occupied by a unit or in my unit's zone of control. So I do have units on this side. This is a zone of control tile. This is a zone of control tile. And then I have to have naval units. I had to bring over some naval units because of this tile here. In order to completely siege the city, I had to surround it there as well. And I'm actually going to stop attacking from the sea and just camp this guy there.
Yeah, I was going to say, kind of took it on the chin there a little bit.
I am building another one over in Kol Oba over here. We got, looks like 2 turns left.
Okay. So he's got a catapult in that city. That's not going to be great. I mean, it's going to make it a little tough to crack that nut.
But it does have a penalty attacking our units, so that should help a little bit. It would be worse if it was an archer. So I'm looking at the comment preview here. We've got 41 to 40. I like those odds, so we'll go ahead and make that attack.
Okay. So beat up a little bit, but
not fantastic. We're gonna, and that's what this is gonna be. It'll be a little bit of a slog. We'll work our way through, and that's part of the downside of having mounted units. So mounted units are very effective because of their ability to move very fast and very far, because they ignore zone of control, as we were mentioning earlier. However, they do have a harder time attacking walls compared to melee units and anti-cavalry units, like the warrior and the spearman that we're talking about over here, which get the advantage of siege units. And a COD actually helps with, basically gives you that effect anyway. It makes it so that your melee and anti-cavalry units deal full damage against walls, but that does not count horsemen, so I went ahead and conquered them. But if I was trying to go in with warriors or swordsmen, that would have been a very, very good benefit for us to have.
Yeah. So I want to remind everybody that we're playing the Head of Cyrus scenario. This is the one that's available right now for Civilization 6. This is our latest monthly scenario. It's running now until March the 12th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, at which time we'll switch to our next one, which we're happy to talk about. And remember that this is a challenge. It is online speed, Prince or Emperor difficulty. You're playing as Tomyris, trying to take over against Persia. We've got an inland sea map. It's a dual map. It's a very small map using the Gathering Storm rule set. So can you do as well as Carl? Can you do better than Carl? Can you do as well as some of our amazing community people? Because I have heard some of the things that folks are able to do are just amazing. So
probably better than me, because so far this siege could be going better. Oh, look at that. We've got a free library. Hypatia, great scientist here, so that's great. We'll put her in Kol Oba, which actually does not have a library yet, but it did have a pretty decent campus spot.
Very nice. So here we're going back to the siege, and this is the question, I guess. Are you going to try to extend it to... Ooh.
No, I'm not going to try to attack Sparta. This unit is going to get hit, but losses are anticipated. That's why I have so many reinforcements on the way up. But I think I have to push some of these units forward to try to get some range attacks in.
It's amazing, ignoring zone of control, how that affects. Like, I'm looking at this, and I usually play a pretty infantry-heavy army, so I'm like, the speed at which this is happening feels very quick to me.
Right.
As somebody who doesn't typically play horse armies. That's pretty impressive. making a mental note to try this out myself. I dipped my toe into it, and I played on Emperor difficulty, which is higher than I usually play, and it went poorly. That's fine. That's fine.
I'm going to pull this guy back, move a different one forward, and attack with it.
So this is really kind of how you have to do sieges in Civ, which is basically have a good stock of units. You can't just simply surround it once and then go for it unless you're like laden up with siege units in tow or stuff like that. But and have a good cycle in and out of troops, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, you have to bring in reinforcements. You have to anticipate that you will have at least some losses. And so far that is certainly looking to be the case.
So do you anticipate it would be much easier on Prince? I know Emperor is more your speed.
Emperor is usually my speed, yeah. I think it probably would be easier on Prince. Certainly you'd be facing less...
The Pantanal is the most
nice.
complex
Yeah, that's cool.
Facing less
intertropical.
opposition from Cyrus. I think that... So he had walls up very quickly, right? We were on turn 46, and he already had walls up in 2 cities.
Yeah.
I got my army over pretty much as fast as I possibly could. With the quantity of units that I did, I could have attacked a little bit earlier, but I needed to have like I said, the quantity for the reinforcements, and I think that having those walls up is definitely hurting us right now, as we're seeing as I'm trying to attack the city on Prince. I could totally see those walls not being there by the time you arrive.
Okay. So let's push forward for a little while longer, and let's see if we're able to crack this. If we feel like the tide is starting to turn, you tell me, and we will draw a discrete veil over history and consider some counterfactuals, which is what Sid is really, really good at.
We did just lose our ship, which is not great. That means we're going to lose the siege here. Yep, there it goes. And we're starting to lose horse archers. You see that they are getting great person points. I believe that might be from their city-state.
Mm-hmm.
Classical era ends in 5 turns. And now we have
now
barbarians attacking.
Yeah, that's not great.
We do have another galley here. We'll send that over. And I am actually going to go ahead and purchase one. Where is it?
Up 3, 4.
It is.
There
Thank
you go.
very much. I'm going to purchase a galley. We'll set this guy to sleep.
So he heals up, and maybe you can use him later on for this.
Exactly. But yeah, losing that siege is going to hurt. This city will now heal, and the only progress I will be making is damage to the walls, which I don't love, but it's better than nothing.
Well, you keep the pressure on. What's the population of that city? It looks like
6.
6? Okay, that's a pretty chunky city to try to be taken out with just horse units.
I made a mistake there. I pillaged that trade route. I was thinking it would only spend some movement. It spent all movement. Now I can't promote that so that it heals and potentially survives a little bit longer, but c'est la vie. This unit also has a promotion, but it's at full health. When you promote a unit, it also heals.
Yeah.
So it's helpful to save those until the unit is wounded a little bit.
Right.
But that is not, so I'm going to try to hold it a little bit longer.
I'll bet if you take that worker, take that worker, and I bet that would aggro the immortal onto
it might, but I was going to say, I wonder if there's another city with walls, and sure enough there is, so now that guy is hurting.
Yeah. Well, I only have bad advice.
That's okay.
So these scenarios that we've been bringing out every month to you, each one of them has a different theme. Back in January, that was Robot Revolution. That was trying to keep Canada alive against giant death robots. That was a fun one. This one is another brief scenario set to an online speed. We're playing Head of Cyrus. This is where you are leading Tomyris of the Scythians, trying to conquer Cyrus of the Persians. It's a little bit of a tricky scenario because it is entirely combat focused on this very tiny dual map with an inland sea. So you've got to move towards where your opponent is. It's available now. It will continue to be available until March 12th. Make sure you check it out. If you complete the scenario, you'll get a badge, which is a kind of a cool thing to have. So please do check that out as you are playing. And my name is Pete Murray, and I am joined today by Carl Harrison, designer, longtime friend of the show, a guy who's conquered many, many things over the course of this. So
hopefully I conquer something today. So far, it's not looking so hot.
no, that's all right.
We've got lots of choices for districts right now. I just grew in population, so I could build something else here, but I think we're going to focus on continuing to pump out.
I was going to say, it's almost like you don't really want to take your eye off the ball.
Yeah,
and
you got to keep making units.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you kind of have to wrap your head around in doing these scenarios. It's like, what's the objective to win? It's not regular Civ. You can't do what you'd normally do to, promote balanced growth for a civilization that's going to play endgame later on.
Yep.
You're like, I just need to get through these, 100 turns or whatever.
Exactly, yeah. And that's the whole point is, for these challenge modes to be as fast as possible. Yeah, it's not about the long game, although you could play long. Maybe this wouldn't finish until Renaissance or Industrial, but I think the idea is to try to do it as fast as possible and hopefully ride the wave of the Saka Horse Archer and really capitalize on its benefits. But man, against these walls, it is not doing well.
So here's a question: would you consider sending scouts, horse archer, a mounted unit, whatever, through the south to see if you can come around the other side of our Black Sea here?
It would take too long. By the time they actually got there, I think that this would be done.
Okay.
Either my army would be dead, or I would have already succeeded in taking them. Because the farthest that I've explored is down to here. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's over here. There could be mountain ranges blocking it. There could be other city-states. There could be barbarians. I have to move all the way across all of this. And this is without a road. Yeah. The reason that my units are able to move so fast through here, part of it's desert, but there's hills and such, and the road allows them to ignore that, so they're able to move much faster. But if I were to try to go around, I wouldn't have that advantage.
Mm-hmm. Tough break. Did you lose that unit? Looked like
I lost that one that I didn't heal. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, bummer.
All right. This hopefully will let me heal. Actually, I might be able to do it here.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, let's try it. Worst case scenario, this guy does not make it. He did not make it.
Oh man. Well,
that was a gamble, and it did not go well.
Did not go
Lots
well.
of things not going well.
That's all right. And it actually looks like Cyrus is starting to put kind of a counterpunch together there. So I see some catapults, I see some more immortals, I see some of his own cavalry. This is very exciting, because that's going to be in your face in a couple of turns.
Yes, it is. I'm still wary of going within range of Sparta here. That's another real problem that we're facing, is just the positioning. It's hard to get the attacks. The Saka Horse Archer has a range of 1.
Yes.
So I have to be adjacent, and that puts me within attack range of Sparta, and I'm not so sure about that play. But I do have more of them coming, I suppose. So let's gamble. Let's keep. I did it over here.
Yeah. Didn't pay off there, but maybe it'll pay off.
Maybe it'll pay off this time.
Yeah. It can't all be misses.
That's what they say in XCOM.
That's something famous about that. Half cover is no cover. That was the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do have a second great general, so I'll move him up.
That's a good idea. Who'd you get this time for your great general?
Trung Trok. So move her up.
Yeah, great.
Trung Trok of the Trung sisters. Fascinating history there. Read all about it in the Civilopedia.
And that was fun. That was fun watching those. I remember you guys working on the Vietnam Civ, bringing that in too. That was
yeah.
That was
that's a really fun Civ to play. Definitely one of my favorites. I know it's well loved by the community.
Andrew did a good job with contributing for that as well
Absolutely.
too, and you guys did a great job on the design of that Civ. So, but we're bringing back 2 of our classic Civs. Tamyrus of Scythia shipped with original Civ 6, load these many years ago, and Cyrus was in our first season of DLC, was he not?
He was, yes, that's correct.
Yeah,
they got their builder back just there.
Well,
that's okay. It's all a distraction. That was all meant to try to buy my units some time. And here's the attack from Sparta.
Yeah, that's
Sparta with a D, not Sparta with a T. That's a Greek city.
I cannot imagine anything.
I remember having a conversation with somebody where there was a Sparta and a Sparda on a map, and trying to explain a situation, and there was a certain lack of understanding on that. That was comical times. Yeah, that was fun.
Not quite enough to kill this, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a promotion.
Yep.
These promotions here would be very helpful against the land units, but I really want to get the one for district defenses.
Yeah.
So I'm going down the right side, even though that first promotion actually isn't doing that much for us.
But district defenses will make it better at attacking the city center, and that's the key. That's the key difference there, correct?
Yes.
All right. So this is a pretty tough scenario. This is you know,
definitely feeling it right now.
certainly losing the siege early on and letting Passagard re-heal. That made it a little bit of a challenge there.
Yes. We do have it re-sieged again now.
Yes.
Thankfully, and we're putting some hurt on these walls. We just have to get them down, and then I think it'll fall.
Once you get the walls down, the city should fall pretty fast.
Quickly.
Yeah. And then if you can get that next the next galleon there, that'll help seal that up as well too. If you need to pull some units back. I like how you just like threw that worker in and burned it. You were like, not this guy. Is not getting this guy back. So on a scenario like this, how much time are you going to spend, or how much energy do you usually put towards making your cities effective? I mean, I see you doing more investment than I would be. I would be sorely tempted to just focus on units.
If you focus just on units, then you fall behind in other ways. You fall behind in tech, so you don't have the units aren't as advanced as theirs, and you'll fall behind there because the more advanced your units are, the higher level your units are, the stronger they are, the more combat strength they have. So you can't really neglect that. You can't neglect your gold because all units have unit maintenance. So you have to be able to keep up your gold economy for that. We can see I'm currently at a negative gold per turn. Looks like 0.2. So I'm slowly eating into that, and that's just because of the sheer quantity of units that I've got. And I do already have the conscription policy in place that is reducing the maintenance per unit by 1. So that would be a much higher value otherwise.
So again, you got to maintain some level of culture so you can keep those social policies coming, so you can offset the
social
cost.
policies. Yep, exactly.
Yep.
You have to have some base infrastructure in order to be able to do something like this.
Even on a simple combat-focused scenario like this, it kind of stretches your thinking out a little bit. So if you've just tuned in, we are playing this month's scenario for Civilization 6, the Head of Cyrus, where you are playing as Tomyrus, trying to fend off Cyrus on this dual map with a large inland sea. It's online speed, so it's moving along at a fairly brisk clip. It's going to be available until March 12th. I'm Pete Murray. I'm your host for today, and Carl Harrison, as usual, is playing in the hot seat today. So Carl's been trying to conquer a city, kind of create an opening for us to move into Cyrus's heartland, but on Emperor difficulty, when Cyrus researches walls quickly, turns out walls are a pretty effective defense against horse archers. And so we're struggling a little bit as we jump back into our game. So Carl, we have started the invasion of Passagard, and as we look at the situation, city's still not falling quite as fast as we would like it, correct?
Correct, yeah. We're doing what we can. We're going to keep hammering on it, but it's definitely a slow process right now.
And you've got barbarian galleys starting to appear in the backfield as well too. So there's that just means there's a barbarian camp somewhere that's a naval barbarian camp that's turning units out. You've got two military. So there's only militaristic city-states in this scenario.
That's correct.
What is Preslav giving you in terms of
Preslav is actually not that beneficial right now. It's a loyalty-based effect.
Okay.
And I'm not really hurting for loyalty. Kabul is giving me double experience, which is very, very good.
It's letting you get those promotions, letting you get that healing from
exactly.
that. Yep.
So that's very helpful here. We'll try to keep that up and going. I would like to trade with Kabul because the trade route was more lucrative there, 6 gold instead of 3.
Okay.
But with that being a naval-only route and these barbarian ships in the water, I know that it would just get pillaged, so I moved it to the land route instead.
Got it. All right. And very slowly we wear down the walls of Passagard. Could you... Yeah, that'd be great, because then you can move the galley into place, maintain the siege, heal up that unit using Tamiris' ability by defeating those spearmen. So that was actually a pretty solid move right there. Feels solid to me. I say you're doing a good job.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was.
Great job. Great job. But this is, the Immortal's a ranged unit, isn't it? It's another one of these ranged.
It is ranged.
Units.
Yeah, that's another thing that's really hurting us here. You notice that there's not really any archers around. It's catapults, which actually are very effective against ships, and the Immortal. And the Immortal is doing all the heavy lifting of the ranged attacks, taking no reciprocal damage that melee units normally have when they do an attack themselves. Yeah. So that is not great for us. And I am going to take a risk.
Ooh, what are you going to do? You're going around.
I'm going to go around.
You think it's going to work?
I have no idea.
Well, it's worth a shot.
This city up here has no walls.
It's a... Yet. No walls
yet. No walls yet. Oh, I moved the wrong unit there.
That's
all
right.
That was pretty low for a ship. But we'll put it back up on land here in a second. I got a quadrireme, which is a ranged naval unit, so hopefully we can sit back and hit the city from the water.
Yeah. Smack that barbarian quadrireme if you need as well, too. Cycle some units out. That's looking good there. Oh, just getting manhandled by the city. Oh, well, they got a promotion, so that's good. So it looks like that city's off by itself. It's a little disconnected from the mainland. There's Susa.
Yeah, they've got a couple in the back here, so we'll see if we can do something about that.
All right. So all is not lost. You might actually have the opportunity to turn things around by opening up multiple fronts on this. And
yes,
that would allow you to try some clever things with the AI.
Promotions. That's a good sign. That's Kabul doing its work there.
Yeah. Well, Carl, we do want to make sure that we do get to our next month's event.
Of course.
So I want to know, do you think that would attack on that little city there? I can't quite read the name of it. It starts with B.
Bakhtri looks like.
Bakhtri. Do you think the attack on Bakhtri would succeed with the forces that you have headed towards it right now? 3 hot Saka horse archers and a light cavalry unit.
I think 3 Saka horse archers and a light cav, which would be the unit I need to capture the city itself, would do the trick. It's a question of how long it will take to get there and if they build walls before then.
All right. Well, we're going to take a moment and we're going to step away from that game as Carl gets ready to walk you guys through our next game that we want to share with you. So our next month's event is called Ides of March. And as the name might imply, it revolves around Julius Caesar. So the fall of Rome is imminent, and can you, as Caesar, hold off against the other civilizations of the world that have united against you? This will begin on March 12th and proceed until April 9th. There's all sorts of interesting things happening in the scenario, which we can't wait to share with you. If you haven't played Caesar before, you will receive him for free for this. Here's some more details on that. We've got a custom map that we'll walk you through as well to that. To get Caesar, normally, you need to sign up for a 2K account. By signing up for a 2K account and linking it to Civilization 6, you receive Julius Caesar as a leader for the Romans, and you get the Scout Cat upgrade, side grade for the Scout unit. So instead of having a dog, you can have a cat. You can't pet the cat because if you have cats, you know you can't do that. They don't like it. So if you want to receive Caesar right now, you can do that. Everybody will receive Julius Caesar while this event is active. So this is a neat scenario that we're getting ready to walk you guys through with that. So Carl's getting ready to load the save for that. This is a longer scenario. It's based on epic speed. We have a custom map for it. You're going to be playing as Rome and all of the advantages of Rome. And you have Julius Caesar's suite of abilities available to you, such as getting gold from attacking units. I'm going to pull them up here because Caesar's a pretty cool guy if you haven't had a chance to play with him yet. Attacking barbarians gives you extra combat strength, and you continue to receive experience not just after your first promotion. And then you get Rome's usual suite of abilities too. So Carl, looks like all roads have led to Rome. But
Yes, they have.
what do you see in this game in front of you here?
So this challenge scenario is particularly nasty because you are against every other AI who are all on a team together. So it's everybody against you, and we are already at a disadvantage in several ways. A lot of our cities have housing and amenity problems, like in Rome here. Several others are suffering loyalty problems. This is rebelling in 8 turns. I think we have one over here that's even faster than that, Mediolanum, rebelling in 4 turns. So we really have no time to waste. We do start with legions in a lot of our cities, although not every city. Some of them don't have any defenses. We haven't actually discovered the legion yet. These are part of the scenario, part of the challenge scenario. They give you the legions ahead of time, whereas we're going to go ahead and start researching ironworking now to unlock those so we can build them ourselves. I'm not entirely sure where the attacks are coming from, so we're going to try to anticipate some different things here. I have no immediate threats here, but it's entirely possible barbarians will pop up.
Yep.
I do need to watch out for those, but first I'm going to try to just keep the front line active as much as possible.
Who are some of the other civs that are in this world with you?
So we have Alexander the Great, we have Amonitoria of Nubia, we have Ambiorix of the Gallic Empire, Basil II of the Byzantines, Cleopatra, Ptolemaic, the persona for the Egyptian Empire, Dido of Phoenicia, Gorgo of Greece, and Qin Shi Huang of the Chinese Empire.
Fantastic. That's just great. And they're all out to kill you.
They are all out to kill me, that's correct.
You're sure your reputation doesn't precede you in all things?
It might. You never know.
So for this scenario, you've not played this before?
I have not played this. This is my
your
first time playing
sitting
this.
down with this. This is
Yeah.
very exciting. So
I think Brundisium is probably also pretty safe. Ostia could get attacked by Carthage over here, so we're going to keep Legion in Ostia, but we'll move Brundisium's Legion up to Rome, remove Rome's Legion up to Antium, Antium's Legion over to Ravenna, because the Gauls are pretty scary. I think they could be pretty successful in attacking us, so we're going to try to fortify against that.
you do have some roads, so it does make some things easier to move around for
Yes.
this as well too. So
Yeah, that should
you're
be
not
helpful.
you're not entirely out of. So what are you going to do to sort of obviate some of the loyalty pressures? That
Yeah,
you've
so
got
I'm going to
going
start
on?
building monuments everywhere, I think. We don't have monuments up yet. Because we are in epic speed, these production turn times are very long, but that's just partly the game speed and partly because these cities are very fresh. You can see they barely have any tiles. We do have a theater square up in Rome, but still, and we do have a monument there as well, but there's definite concerns here. I'm going to build a builder down here in Rome. Until we get our legion up, and then we'll switch to doing legions in a couple of different places. I don't think I cannot afford to purchase the monument. I do have a governor choice available, so we'll pick that here in a second.
Quick guess, what governor do you think you're going to go for this early on? in the
I
game?
am going to go for Victor, because Victor moves in 3 turns. He establishes himself in 3 turns, and he gives a combat bonus. So because I think I am going to be attacked, I want to go ahead and get Victor up and running, and we're going to put him over in Mediolanum. We can already see that there is a Macedonian unit there, the Hypaspist, which is one of their 2 unique units.
Yep.
So we need to be wary of that attack coming and hopefully head off some of these loyalty difficulties. We're now at 6 turns, which is still not great.
Yeah, especially on epic speed where everything is taking longer than you might expect in
Right.
order to come online. So overall, what do you think your strategy is going to be for this game?
Survive. It's all about survival. I'm going to try to get units up, try to address these loyalty issues, try to get some units up, and see what happens when we start to get attacked, because it's entirely possible that that the attacks themselves are going to make things go very, very poorly for us. I'm going to put in +1 production to all cities to try to make those monuments a little bit faster, and we're going to put in production towards melee units so that once we unlock those legions, we can produce them faster, and hope for the best.
Oh, here comes Ambiorix. Well, he does like a big army.
No attack yet. We do have some barbarian outposts popping up on the second turn here.
Okay. So with Caesar's ability to sort of farm barbarians, as it were,
Yes.
is that something that you would consider at this point?
If I had a good barbarian camp with which to do it, like there's one up here, it looks like. If there's one where I don't have to go super far out of the way, I might consider attacking that to try to get some XP. But attacking barbarians also does leave me wounded for a bit. So if I get attacked by the other civs, then that's potentially problematic.
Yeah. And that,
However, you do get extra gold for destroying barbarian camps, so that might allow me to purchase some infrastructure that I wouldn't otherwise be able to afford.
yes,
And actually, with that in mind,
that is pretty far out of the way over
I
some
think
hilly terrain.
this is already moving from Iridium over to Arpinum, so I think I am going to start moving north
Ooh,
to try
that's
to
gonna be a
deal with
slog.
that. It's going to be very slow going, and we might actually be able to move this one over to deal with this barbarian over here.
Okay. So if you're just tuning in, we are playing next month's Civilization 6 challenge, Ides of March, where you as Julius Caesar are trying to survive a multi-way conflict versus the 8-some other civilizations in the world that are fighting you. Everybody will have access to Julius Caesar as a leader for the next month. But if you want to keep Caesar, go ahead and sign up, make a 2K account, link it to your Civilization 6 game, and you'll receive both Julius Caesar and the Scout Cat. So, who are we playing against, Carl? We have a question from the audience.
So we are currently playing against a team of AI. So everybody is on a team with each other against me, which is really not good for us. But they are going to have a unified front and launch multiple attacks against us that we are going to have to fend off. Along with barbarians, there were 6 camps that just spawned. We have to watch out for those. I'm going to try to take out some of them so we don't have quite as many units coming at us, but also taking out the barbarian camps as Julius Caesar gives us additional gold, and that gold can then be used to
Buy more units.
buy more units and sort of jumpstart us a little bit. We're negative gold per turn. That's another obstacle that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
We are running out of time on Mediolanum. We have 2 turns before it is out of loyalty.
Are you going to be able to get that monument done in time?
No, it's
Oh, dear.
has stopped production entirely because the loyalty is so low. I'm going to move this down and maybe try to take out this camp.
Yep. So you can see some of the other civs that are there. You've got Alexander the Great. You've got Basil of the Byzantines are there. We've got Qin Shi Huang showing up somewhere off in the distance, I would presume. All sorts of ancient classical era leaders, traditional enemies of Rome, and some oddballs as well too. Carl, what are you going to slot in your wild card policy?
So I would really like to do a loyalty policy, but we haven't unlocked them yet. So maybe that's the next thing we go to try to pick up. Getting some more infrastructure or economic policies would be nice, but I don't think any of them are actually going to benefit us that much this time. To try to kill those camps faster, I'm going to put in discipline, combat strength against barbarians, and then I put in conscription for reduced unit maintenance to try to take care of that gold deficit, which it did, thankfully.
Awesome.
The legions do have a higher gold maintenance than usual.
Yes. But they're pretty cool units.
They're very strong.
All right. So now we can start whacking on that camp. So because Julius Caesar's units get experience points not only the first time they level up after killing barbarians, but after that as well too, you could potentially farm those barbarian camps as a way to sort of get more XP for the units, get some promotions, make them a little more cutting edge, because we don't know what the AI is going to throw at us yet, because Carl, this is the first time you're seeing this scenario.
This is the first time I'm seeing it, yeah. And I think this is a lost cause. I'm going to go ahead and pull these units back.
I'm sorry.
We've got 1 turn until rebellion. I have not been able to take care of this camp in time, so we couldn't purchase the monument. It's going to be lost to a free city.
Yep.
And I do not want to waste my units fighting the free city and trying to recapture this. This is also going to drop faster now that I don't have a city here.
Yeah.
So I think these 2 cities are just a lost cause. That means I have less concern coming from Macedon, and I can pull back and reinforce the rest of my cities and hopefully do something with those.
So let's see. What turn are you on right now?
8.
Okay, and this is an epic speed scenario. So This is not one you're going to burn through in the course of an evening. This is something you're going to have to come back and think about repeatedly, again and again, over the course of the scenario. So retrenching kind of back towards Rome might be an option. If you can take out the Gauls' capital there, that might actually be better. It almost feels like it's closer than some of the other things.
It is, but I'm also not entirely sure that I want to go on the offensive. I don't know exactly how difficult things are going to get. We'll put this in this city here.
Yeah. Well, the best defense is always a good offense. I mean...
See, this is already flipping to Macedon.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be
already.
flipping in 9 turns. There's no way that I can hold that city without taking out Macedon itself. But this city is going to be very difficult to capture. It's sitting right in a mountain pass, so you have to come from both directions. It's across a river.
Yeah, there's
You're pretty much not taking this city here. And I think that we just give up our eastern front.
Too bad. Ooh, looks like Alexander's attacking that barbarian camp as well, too. You might be able to sneak it out from underneath him if he kind of throws himself at it on the next turn.
It's also possible that he'll destroy it before we get the opportunity.
I mean, be optimistic. We gambled and lost in the last scenario. Maybe we'll gamble and win on this one.
The point of this scenario is that you're sort of constantly losing and you have to come back from that. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit if we just are out of luck there.
I don't know. I have faith. It occurs to me the area around Rome is actually pretty hard to develop. Like, that's not...
It can be.
Able to get some
we do have some good resources there.
Mm-hmm. What are you going to do?
We're going to farm this.
Excellent. Got it?
No, we're going to...
Whack the Hypatists.
I could.
Fight somebody.
I don't think we're actually at
Fight
war.
him. Oh, we're not?
They're currently friendly, so I'm not going to... Until they feel the need to come after me, I'm not actually going to attack them.
Okay.
But with this many AI against me, I fully anticipate there being an attack from them at any time.
Yeah, somebody's going to get upset at you and then start taking you out, so...
So we do want to put down...
What are you thinking?
We do want to put down this campus. I'm thinking we'll chop this deer.
Okay.
This geothermal fissure is going to make that a pretty nice campus spot.
Mm-hmm.
And we are out of housing here, so I'm going to go ahead and put a granary down.
Okay. Farm that camp. Get that gold.
Yep, so this is Barbarian Clans mode, so attacking the camp does not immediately destroy it.
Yes.
And we're going to use that to our advantage to try to, if you plunder the camp for gold, then it does not remove the camp. It spawns a new unit, and then you have a 10-turn cooldown, so hopefully we can use that to get gold a couple of different times.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and harvest this, get the granary up and running. Yeah, see, now we have a new unit here. I'm going to go ahead and heal up a little bit.
You got it. You got it.
Okay, now we're at 1,000 gold, and we can start cooking a little bit.
What are you gonna buy?
I don't know. I think I'm gonna buy settlers. Or excuse me, not settlers. Builders.
Yeah.
I think that builders are probably going to be the most useful thing for us to have right now. Some of these cities are have some really nice resources. And I think that they would do much better if they just had the tile improvements to get some extra yield out of them.
Gotcha.
So he's already mad at us because we're not attacking.
Oh, they're starting to come after you.
A little bit. Yeah, also upset that we're not attacking. So I think it's just a matter of time before one of them declares war, and when one of them declares war, all of them declare war. And it's for that reason I don't want to come over and try to capture Gaul. Like, yes, I have a whole bunch of legions right there, but if I declare war on them, on Gaul, I'm fighting everybody.
All right, well, on that note, as the powers of the world begin to assemble themselves against Karl, we will leave you there. So this is the scenario that's coming out for the Ides of March. It'll be out on March the 12th and run until April the 9th. Can you do as well as Karl? Can you be like me and cause the civilizations of the world to unite and come after you in a ill-conceived moment of hubris? I do want to thank you for coming out to watch our live stream today for both the Head of Cyrus and for the Ides of March. If you want to get Julius Caesar right now, you can do that by creating a 2K account and linking it to Civilization 6. Not only will you receive Julius Caesar, but you'll get the bonus Scout Cat side grade upgrade alternate as well for you. Don't forget to follow Civilization on its various social channels at CivGame, places at civilization.com. I've been your host, Pete Murray. It's been my pleasure to have you today. And joined playing today has been Carl Harrison, who's been our fantastic gamer.
Thanks very much, Pete.
Thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and we'll talk to you again soon.